Today's urgent update from Iraq comes with a warning, a surprise, and a message that could determine the future of the Iraqi dinar and the country's economic direction. Viewers, you must watch until the end because major voices in international finance are saying that Iraq is standing at a critical crossroads. There is growing pressure to push Iraq forward into a stronger monetary system, but there is also fear that if Iraq failed to make the right decisions now, the country could fall back into financial complications that nobody wants to revisit. An expected visit from a high-level United States envoy carrying what is described as a special message has added shockwaves across political and banking circles. Reforms, investment, global cooperation, and the value of the dinar are all being discussed behind closed doors. The question is, which direction will Iraq take? Forward into modernization and global confidence, or backward into confusion and delay? Stay with us, because the story is getting more intense with every hour. Iraq's monetary reform has been unfolding slowly, step by step, and for years, experts around the world have argued about what the final result might look like. The Central Bank of Iraq continues to state that they are pushing to protect the nation's currency and work toward full international standards. However, different advisors and analysts outside the official system often share opposing opinions, leaving the public unsure what is real and what is misleading. Some claim that the Iraqi dinar could strengthen over time as the country improves economic stability and controls corruption. Others argue that major changes, especially dramatic increases in currency value, would be too risky. Iraq's financial officials insist that reforms are happening carefully, not suddenly, because one wrong move could create chaos in the markets. Right now, they're focused on building trust, increasing transparency, and improving the banking sector, but this transformation is still in progress, which means patience is required. It is a slow process, and that alone creates suspense and speculation. One major warning from international partners is very clear: weapons must stay out of politics if Iraq wants economic stability. This advice signals that internal conflicts and power struggles could still damage progress if not controlled. The message is simple: if Iraq wants global investment, secure banks, and a dinar that strengthens over time, political influence must not interfere with monetary policy. Advisors say Iraq must choose the path of legal institutions that enforce order, attract foreign companies, and build trust with investors. Without that stability, Iraq risks falling again into uncertainty, delays, and stalled progress. Today's world economy is fast. Hesitation could cost billions. Many believe this push from Washington, combined with growing investor interest, means there is no more room for mistakes. There has also been discussion comparing Iraq to Kuwait's monetary experience from decades ago, reminding Iraq not to repeat past missteps. The message being repeated is that rebuilding and adjusting a national currency must be done strategically, not rushed. Kuwait's financial recovery took careful planning and international cooperation. Iraq is being advised to follow a path that avoids inflation, protects citizens' savings, and supports economic growth. Global partners appear prepared to assist Iraq, but only if Iraq continues to show steady progress and commitment to honest reform. Meanwhile, commentators outside the government disagree openly with each other. Some insist the dinar's exchange rate, what you see in banks, is not the same as a nominal rate, which relates to value inside the domestic economy. These voices warn citizens not to assume that every currency node will automatically convert into a higher value just because policies change. They argue that any future redenomination, if ever proved, would likely simplify the currency by removing zeros but without creating instant wealth. The key message they try to deliver is this: currency reform is not magic. It is accounting, not a lottery. Another group of analysts strongly disagrees, saying Iraq's financial math already signals future adjustments. They speak about an internal accounting system that uses different figures than the public exchange rate. They claim these numbers suggest Iraq's currency could eventually reflect a stronger economic position. Their message is that a developing country like Iraq should not remain locked to a low value forever when it has massive natural resources, gold reserves, and investment expansion. They encourage viewers to believe Iraq is preparing to use what they call big numbers in monetary reporting. But again, none of these comments represent official announcements. They are interpretations, predictions, and hopes, not confirmed policy. When analysts discuss money supply, another concern arises: billions upon billions of dinar remain in circulation inside Iraq. If any dramatic change were forced too quickly, the government could face financial strain. That is why many experts support patient progress, allowing Iraq to grow its private sector, increase exports, and level the banking system before making any explosive moves with currency value. Iraq's government itself maintains a careful tone, saying progress continues, but without promising anything specific or sudden. With high stakes involved, a safe and smart timeline is necessary. Now, let's turn to the news that has heightened tension. A U.S. envoy is preparing to visit Iraq with what has been described as a direct message from Washington. Reports claim that major political and economic topics will be addressed. This message may include new expectations for reform, demands for stronger anti-corruption enforcement, and a push to finish lingering policy changes that investors have waited years to see. Many believe the United States wants Iraq to fully integrate into the international financial system, but only if Iraq clearly chooses a path of independence, lawful governance, and transparency. Statements circulating from political figures suggest that actions are coming, not just talk. This increase in urgency signals that both the U.S. and Iraq may be ready to make decisions that will shape the country's financial landscape for the long term. If Iraq accelerates banking modernization, meets global compliance requirements, and improves coordination with international financial institutions, foreign investors may increase involvement rapidly, and that could generate jobs, infrastructure projects, and greater stability. But if Iraq delays or allows internal conflicts to interfere, investment confidence could disappear quickly. The United States is pushing Iraq to finalize important laws and enforcement systems, especially those related to banking, currency exchange, and corruption prevention. These changes are needed for Iraq to be fully trusted by international banks, financial regulators, and world markets. Without these measures, Iraq's development slows, and the dinar remains limited in global usage. With pressure rising, Iraq's leaders must now choose between modernization or lingering in uncertainty. This decision will not only affect government officials, it affects ordinary citizens who want stronger purchasing power and reliable savings. Economic advisors inside Iraq argue that the work already completed shows that a major leap forward is possible. They point to new technology, improved monitoring of financial transactions, and closer cooperation with respected global partners. They argue that Iraq is closer to monetary reform than most people realize. The logic is simple. Nobody pushes this hard unless something meaningful is on the horizon. But again, government officials stay quiet on exact outcomes, suggesting that discretion is part of strategy. Silence may be protecting future plans until the environment is fully secure. Even more dramatic financial news is emerging. Iraq is entering one of the largest investment booms in its history, driven by infrastructure expansion, energy projects, and foreign interest from multiple continents. When investment rises, the currency can eventually strengthen, but only if reforms continue without disruption. Countries with major investment flows are seen as more financially secure, which can improve currency reputation and demand internationally. Iraq wants to build a modern, competitive economy, and that goal requires both foreign confidence and internal discipline. Viewers, here is where the suspense becomes intense. The final stage of monetary reform is often the most secretive. Officials reduce communication, avoid giving direct answers, and sometimes even release misleading statements to protect the reform process. This strategy is used globally, not just in Iraq, to prevent speculation spikes and illegal market manipulation. One day, you may hear that major changes are happening. The next day, someone may declare that everything is stable and no adjustments are planned. Confusion becomes a shield, hiding the truth until the correct moment arrives. That uncertainty keeps people guessing and waiting. Financial observers warn citizens not to react to rumors or rush promises online. They say the truth will come from official announcements, not speculation channels. For now, the public must remain patient, watching carefully for real signs, such as new bank regulations, digital systems, international trade agreements, and successful audits. These are the clues that show genuine progress. Currency changes, if they ever come, would only follow after reforms are complete and fully tested. No shortcuts, no instant miracles. Patience is part of smart planning. Iraq must now demonstrate strength in governance while keeping political friction under control. This is a decisive test, If economic strategies move forward smoothly, confidence will continue to grow, and major world powers may expand partnerships in Iraq. But if factional disputes or illegal influences interfere, progress could stall or reverse. The future is not guaranteed. It must be earned through stable leadership and responsible decision-making. This is why the arrival of a U.S. envoy carries so much weight. Global powers are watching closely. They want Iraq to succeed. But the direction Iraq chooses will determine what kind of support continues. The message being carried could pressure decision-makers to move faster, enforce reforms harder, and complete the financial transition sooner. Timing matters because the world economy changes every day. Opportunities do not wait forever. Foreign investors already know Iraq's potential. The country has massive oil reserves, valuable natural resources, and a strategic geographic location. If the banking system transforms completely and corruption decreases significantly, Iraq could rise as one of the most powerful financial players in the Middle East. That potential is too big to ignore, and investors do not want to miss it. However, they also need assurance that Iraq's currency is protected by law, well managed, and stable. While many remain hopeful, uncertainty still surrounds the exact path the dinar will take. A stronger international presence could help Iraq build a better exchange market, develop digital banking, and allow more interaction with global currencies. This would make the dinar easier to use across borders, a major step toward modernization. But again, any rate changes would be gradual and controlled, not sudden or speculative. Responsible change builds long-term strength. Viewers, take note, the most important phrase being repeated is crossroads. This moment in Iraq's history is a turning point, a decision between progress and setback. The choice is not only economic, it is about the future identity of the nation. Will Iraq be known as a stable global economy respected worldwide, or will challenges hold it back again? That is why today's news is filled with urgency, pressure, and suspense. The visit from Washington could push the government to finalize reforms that have been pending for years. Whether this message is friendly guidance or firm demand, we will soon find out. But one thing is certain, the world expects Iraq to prove that it can lead its own financial destiny confidently and responsibly. There is no room left for delay. Monetary reform is not just about numbers, it is about restoring national pride, building trust, and creating opportunity for every Iraqi citizen. Parents want to save money securely, young people want jobs and future stability. Businesses want fair markets and strong banking. The dinar is more than paper, it is a symbol of economic hope. Viewers, imagine Iraq years from now, stronger, independent, and respected in international finance. That vision feels closer than ever before. But visions can fade if action is not taken quickly enough. Today's developments are pressing Iraq to make decisions that shape the next generation. If the right moves are made now, the future could be bright. If not, progress slows and opportunity disappears. As we continue to monitor these unfolding events, remember this nothing happens overnight, but everything happening today matters. Every reform, every negotiation, every leadership decision builds the foundation for Iraq's financial future. That is why global attention is locked on Baghdad right now. We are witnessing history in progress, and every viewer listen today is part of the audience. Watching this critical turning point, stay with us, subscribe for continuous updates, and turn on notifications because we will follow every meeting, every statement, and every sign that reveals where Iraq is heading next. The story is not finished. The best, or the most challenging, chapter is still ahead. And we will be right here to cover it for you every step of the way. This is your Iraq Currency News Network. Thank you for watching and stay alert for the next urgent update.